Hello. I had said that I would share some of the code that I used to make the tables directly from R into Word. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay, so this is actually going to be using question 2 from the first exam. I'll also probably post the R script as well so that you can just follow along on your own. So these are the libraries that you have to use. And I also just used all of the code in the first exam. So this is starting off with the ANOVA. So this is just kind of the first bit that you need to do when you do your bitable. And then in order to make your table, it's easiest to turn it into a data frame. Now I can't figure out how to go straight from mean, which right here is just a list, into a data frame. If you call mean down here, it yes, there we go. It comes up this way. So it has it listed with its row names anyway, but it's as a list. So I find if you go first through matrix, it creates it up here so you can call it, and it's there. And then I create it. You can go from a matrix to a data frame, just not from the original bitable to a data frame. It'll give you an error. This was the code for the ANOVA that we ran. Okay, so now we're going to get into making the table. So as you can see here, this is our data frame, and it looks really good. And the way I like to present it is, so these are going to be our means, and then beside, I'm going to have one row here that's going to have our test statistics. So we do need to create the columns here for the statistics, the p-value, and what was it? And the degrees of freedom. So I'm just going to create 3 columns here. Here we go. So we run that, and then when we look at it, you can see, oh, yeah, those columns are there. So that's really great. And here I'm just pulling out the statistics that we got from the test. So if we go to ANOVA up here, we see that it's all there. It is just a list of 5 though. And as most of you probably noticed, if you just start typing ANOVA and then you do your $, it's going to give you the 5 values that you can pull out, which is really handy in R. So here I pulled out the statistic, the parameter, and the p-value. So like you can see here, if we just call this right there, it's going to tell us exactly what that is. That's the X statistic. So if we run this line, we now have created a string of 3, which is exactly what we needed. So set stat, yeah, it's a list of 3, see right there. So here, now we're just gonna plunk it into our data frame. So we're going into the data frame named mean. We're gonna go in the first column right here, and we're gonna go in rows 2 to 4. So that's just exactly what we're saying. And that's when we use the square brackets, is that we're going into the data frame. So we're going into the first row, and we're gonna go into columns 2 to 4, and we're gonna put this string there. So that's what we've got here, which is great. Here I'm just basically formatting the p-values. For the first exam, I just did it this way, and I just used scientific notation. For the second exam, I actually created a pretty complex nested if-else statement in order to use either scientific notation or just regular decimals to 4 decimal places, or to less than 0.001. So if anyone has any questions on how I did that, I can show you. But I don't have the code right here, and I thought it would be a bit complicated. So I just formatted it to say that I wanted it to be scientific with 3 decimal places. So that's what that one is right there. So now we have everything that we need to start a huxtable. Huxtable, from what I can find, is one of the easiest ways to save directly into Word. I'm going to use the piping function here. If anyone has any questions about really what that means, I can answer it. It's basically for all of these functions, the very first thing that you put in is X. So you can see there, if you hover over it, the first thing you say is X. And basically, instead of repeating mean all of these times, I'm piping it in. So basically, for every single thing, you just get rid of the first thing, because the first thing is always going to be the huxtable that you're using. So you start off by saying, this is the data frame that I want to turn into a huxtable. I'm going to call this huxtable table 2 when I'm all done. So the first thing you do is add as hux. And then as you kind of go on, you can call the huxtable information that's going to come up over here, and it is going to give you like all of the options. Or here it doesn't really actually, but if you go to the actual web page for it, it's going to give you all of the things that you can use. And so as you're going through, if there's anything that you're confused about, like just do question mark and you put it down at the bottom. So here I added row names. I don't know if I even had to do that. I might actually have to take that out. We'll see, because I did change things when I came back to this. So theme basic, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I don't really know what that is. It's just I saw it in all of the code that I found, so I put it in there. Set contents, basically I'm calling it what it is. I actually don't know if I need that as well. Oh, I maybe just need to change the V1 there, but it's going to change everything into it being like kind of nice. So that's what that one is right there. And it's going to go in the first row, 1 to 5. So is that right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be perfect. And I mean, you just kind of go through and you make it look nice. I wanted to align everything. So everywhere, this is really nice. Like it's basically just saying all rows and all columns, and I want them to be centered. I said the header row is in row 1, and I said the header column is in column 1, or it's not actually. I turned that one off because I didn't want to bold this. I wanted it to be unbolded. So I just said the first one. So header row 1 true, header call 1 false. Style headers bold true. Here I'm going to make it just like alternating grays. You could just get rid of this if you don't want it. So here, set number format is interesting. So we're saying all columns right here, or all rows, sorry, all rows, and then columns you concatenate. I said 2 and 4. So when we go up here, it's going to be 2 and 4. Is that right? Maybe. We'll see. I wanted those to have 0 decimal places. Yeah, that's right, because I don't want my degrees of freedom to have a decimal place, and I didn't actually want my means to have a decimal place, so I got rid of that. So there's going to be no decimal places there. And then here, set number format, all the rows 3. So 1, 2, 3, test statistic. I want that to be 3. And like I had mentioned before, I already formatted this one, so it should be fine. So that's going to turn that to 3 decimal places. Set width is just basically, I think, width of 1 corresponds to 6 inches. So you just kind of do your fraction based on that being 6 inches, and that's what's going to print to your Word document. This, again, I was pretty trying to get it to fit properly. So that's saying in column 1, I wanted it to be a bit bigger because I wanted all of this to be on one line instead of it wrapping. Here, set bottom border. So I wanted there to be a line underneath here. That's all I wanted. So it's set bottom border 1, so the first row everywhere across all the columns of 1. So you could do, if it was stacked, like, oh, this was obese and this was not obese, you could do a little line here and a little line here just by specifying the rows and columns that you wanted. It's pretty easy. And 1, this can go up to 3, I think. It says that you can do like a double line, but that's actually not supported going into Word right now. So, and then this last one here, map text color. So what I wanted was, so for this one, I mean, it's not that bad because it's just the 1 p-value, but then for the first table, we had, a whole bunch of p-values, and I wanted the ones that were statistically significant to show up as red. So for here, it's easy, but this, this formula can work as well anywhere. So for all of the rows in column 5, and I said by ranges. So this makes the cutoff as 0.05. And basically you're saying, you know, you have to have 2. For every cutoff that you have to have one more indicator. So it's saying like to the one side it's going to be this color, to the other side it's going to be this color. So I set it at 0.05. So everything on this side of 0.5 is red, and everything on this side of 0.5 is going to be black. So if I run this, I wonder what it's going to look like. So I did change a bunch of things. Let's see here. And so usually what I do when I start everything at the top is I have a little notification for myself to set a working directory. So you can change this to like any file. So, but here, because I haven't set it, it's just going to go to the generic temporary R folder. So I'm going to save this. It's just quick docs, quick docx, I guess you could say. The first thing is the huxtable that you use. And then this one is saying what you want it to be saved as, and you have to include this here. So it's going to be saved as table2.docx. So that's all that one. I mean, there's other things that you can put in it, but I mean, it just kind of complicates things, and this is really all you really need. So I'm going to go to files here, and you can see this one was made right now. So perfect. So I opened that up, and there's our table. So like, say I wanted this to be, you know, aligned on the left. So if I close this, if you leave it open, then it's not going to let you save it again. So let's say I wanted that first one to be aligned to the left. So here I have everything. I have all of the rows, all of the columns. So I'm just going to go and say this is going to be 2 to 5, and it's going to be piped in. And then I'm going to just specify. I don't know if I have to specify, but I'm going to say everywhere, and then column 1, and I'm going to put it as being left, and what did I add this? Yeah, and don't forget to pipe it in to your next one, or else it's going to give you an error. So, oops, unexpected in. What is happening? Unexpected comma in there. I don't really know what's happening here. Oh, right there, Joy. I put in my own brackets. That was the problem. I'm fine. Everything's fine. So here, now it's left aligned. And you can see right here, it's left aligned right to the edge. I don't really care for that. I'd like it to be moved over a bit. So that's actually called your left padding, or your padding, yeah. So I will put that in. Should I be padding in here at all? No. So I'm going to say set, oops, left padding right there. Which rows do I want? I want it to be, I'm going to do it actually differently. I'm going to do, this is interesting, I'll go 2, 2, wait, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 to 5, column 1. And you put in a number. I can't remember what the generic number is. I'm going to put 3. And type that in, and we'll see what happens. Places. You can call it here. Like I have this here, you can call it. It never looks very good. So it has it here. See, like it doesn't do padding, it doesn't do centering. So it's just for basically getting your numbers right. So you kind of have to save it each time, which is a bit of a pain, but so you go in and out and in and out. Didn't do anything. I'm going to go to, yeah, what do I do? Yeah, I do a lot of padding here. When I put them all in, on my just like get rid of all this. See, left padding here. I did that. Oh, I did a 10. Okay, well, no wonder. See 10. Oh, see, that's what happens. I had it open. It doesn't like you to have it open. It's not going to overwrite it. Okay, so see here, now it's indented over a bit. So that's what I did for, if I check here, table 1. This is table 1. Yeah, so here I had all of these indented a little bit more once I went there. So that's where you can kind of group things together. So it looks quite nice. So like I said, this is, some of the features. There's merge cells, you insert rows. You just kind of have to play around with it a whole bunch in order to get it. So here with this table, because the top and the bottom didn't have the same, so I had to insert columns here and then merge them back together. You just kind of have to play around with it and get used to it, and you'll see all of the capability that it has in Huxtable. For simple tables, it's pretty easy, but that's a quick way. If anyone has any questions, you can definitely ask me. I'm certainly not anywhere close to being an expert, but I can try to help you out if I can. So let me know. I'm going to put this on YouTube under my name, so you can find it there if you want as well. Okay, see you guys next term.